Our first look video of this car, the BMW iX3 Neue Klasse, is one of our most popular videos of 2025, and that's before we've even driven it, which finally I am here in Ronda in Spain to do today. Now, in case you'd forgotten, this marks a whole reinvention for BMW because for the first time it's developing both the hardware and the software. And it is also the first car to get BMW's new design look. But you know, we knew all that already. What we don't know yet is what it feels like on the road behind the wheel. So should we go for a drive? Yes, let's. Let me remind you of the headlines. You've got a 108 kilowatt hour battery and up to 500 miles of range, depending on the spec. Prices, they start at £58,755 on the road, which means almost double the range of the old iX3 for less money. And it undercuts rivals like the Audi Q6 e-tron and the Mercedes GLC. BMW is now using 4 super brains to run the key systems: ADAS, driving dynamics, comfort and infotainment, all tied together in what they call the Heart of Joy. Not so sure about the name. The point of all that is speed and control. These systems talk to each other more intelligently than ever before. Because BMW has developed the systems, it also has more control over how the car drives. So it can make it more BMW, if you like. So this model is the xDrive 50, which will be the launch model in the UK. It's got 21-inch wheels. The colour is space silver. Initially, only a few colour options will be offered and more will be added down the line. And by the way, order books are open now. So this is, of course, where you see the real difference with the car. Here at the front, it has these little twin oval kidneys there. It's a real throwback to the Neue Klasse cars of the past, which I like. The big thing for me, though, is that the chrome has gone. Chrome has been replaced by lights. That's because chrome isn't that sustainable to make, and BMW are putting a lot of focus into the sustainability of this story. And if you look down here in the centre, this is where the cameras are housed. So the ADAS systems, which are controlled by their very own super brain, again, are a really big story on this car. They are very clever. But like I said, we know all of this. Let's go for a drive. I've already spent several hours driving this car over a variety of different roads. I've done a long motorway journey. I'm on some faster country roads now. And spoiler alert, it's really nice to drive. Power-wise, in this iDrive 50, you get 463 horsepower from dual motors. 0 to 62 takes 4.9 seconds. So yeah, it's pretty quick for a car of this size. It's an EV, so you were probably expecting that. But for me, the standout isn't the power, it's how smoothly that power is delivered. You get exactly the amount you want when you want it. And what you don't get is that slightly aggressive punch you in the back feeling of power that some electric cars have. On the move, the whole thing just feels really well tied together. Pulling away is smooth, the acceleration comes in predictably, power is there right throughout the range. I do love this steering wheel. Sometimes steering wheels just feel right, don't they? Do you know what I mean? They just have got that feeling of rightness in your hands, and this has got it. The steering is lovely. Nice weight distribution as well between the front and rear of the car. Goes exactly where you want it to go. It's light around town, then tightens up as you pick up speed. In terms of suspension setup, you've got a similar setup to the petrol X3. It's got steel springs rather than air suspension. But the big news is that there is a hydraulic part now that softens off the edges of the bumps so that the ride does feel settled and smooth. Yesterday, I drove the M Sport Pro version, and I've got to say the two, I'm enjoying driving this more. This is the standard car. It doesn't have the kind of waftiness that you get with air suspension, but I think for steel springs, it's pretty good. I would, though, be quite curious to drive this on smaller wheels. All the cars here have got 21s. You can spec 22s. I'd like to try it on 20s because, of course, the bigger the sidewall is, the less rubber there is to soak up lumps and bumps in the road. You know, no suspension trickery will give you more sidewall, even if it will disguise it a bit. So I reckon if you want a softer, more pillowy ride, then spec the smaller wheels. I did find the ride in this more comfortable than, as I said, in the M Sport Pro. It's picking up some of the smaller lumps and bumps, just those uneven surfaces, but nothing to bother you. It's a really nice driving position as well. Loads of adjustment in the seat, lots of adjustment in the steering wheel. Seats are operated electronically. Steering wheel is a manual adjustment. But I mean, I'm small, 5'4". I've got a really nice, comfortable driving position. There's a lot of much taller people than me out here driving cars, and I've spoken to them and they said it works for them as well. Got good visibility, really nice deep windows, and of course you've got that slightly high ride which gives you a great view of the road. It's just a really comfy thing to be in. I could happily do a very long drive in this, no problems at all. Like I said, when it comes to driving, you've got that one processor, basically in charge of all of it: acceleration, braking, recouping, some of the steering functions. And I reckon the place you can feel that most is in the brakes. So BMW says that around 98% of your braking can be done through regeneration rather than traditional pads and brakes. And that is brilliant because we love brake regeneration at Electrifying. What this gives you in practice, I think, is really smooth, consistent pedal feel. And it really comes into its own in stop-start traffic where you've got no jerkiness with the brake at all. It's just a kind of effortless, smooth glide. It's really very nice. Another area you see the benefit of the systems is the charging capability. So this is built on an 800 volt platform, which is basically the high performance end of EV charging. It will charge at speeds of up to 400 kilowatts. The caveat there being, of course, that you've got to find a charger that can deliver those speeds first of all. If you do, it means that you can get from 10 to 80% in 21 minutes. You can add 200 miles in around 10 minutes. I mean, that is incredible, isn't it? It's barely enough time to, nip to the loo and grab a coffee. And it doesn't seem that long ago that we were celebrating charging speeds of 10 to 80% in half an hour. It's coming down all the time. So it gets all the other charging kit that you'd imagine as well. It comes equipped with vehicle to load, which means that you can plug electrical appliances into your car. It has vehicle to home and vehicle to grid capability, which helps you use your car to balance the overall energy grid. And if a lot of that is new technology to you, then do head over to electrifying.com because we've got explainers and guides to it all over there.
Now, you might not be looking for a brand new EV, and that's where we can help. Our used car listings at electrifying.com have loads of different models with handy info like battery warranties. So you can see the listings by scanning the QR code on the screen right now. So if you're watching on your smart TV or your tablet, you can carry on watching and scroll our listings on your phone at the same time.
So the iX3 has a party trick. This. You could take your hands off of the wheel. It's got a motorway assistant, a bit like the Blue Cruise system, if you've heard of that. That runs in the Ford Mach-E at the moment and is going into other Fords. So it's licensed for use widely across Europe and in Germany. It will be licensed for UK. It's not there at the moment. They're not sure if the early cars will get the license through in time. So we'll update the website electrifying.com with news of when that update comes. But basically, it's combining all the safety systems in the car together and using that super brain that I talked about, that individual super brain that is managing all those systems to offer an incredibly responsive driver assistance. So this is what's known as level 2 autonomy, hands off the wheel, eyes on the road. And it does check to make sure that you are looking in the mirror and you are looking around you. So if I try to look away, it gets quite cross with me and it will ultimately turn the systems off and make me put my hands back on the wheel. So it feels a bit weird the first time you do it. You have a tendency to hold your hands up there and then you just relax into it. Now, I don't actually love ADAS systems generally. I drove an ES90, a Volvo ES90 recently, and I really didn't like the systems in it. They were overly intrusive. The steering wheel was tugging quite a lot. I was also reading out the wrong road signs. However, in this, I've got to say, it's one of the pieces of technology that has really impressed me, and I've used it quite a lot on the motorway. It's super slick, super smooth. And what I like about it is that BMW is not pretending that this is self-driving technology. Because it's not. It's even calling it an assistant. It just helps you with the driving. But this is by far the smoothest and most relaxing system I've used. And I'm a terrible backseat driver and I hate being driven. While I'm here, let's have a quick chat about efficiency. So it's really hard to talk about efficiency when you are in a car on a launch that's been driven by loads of other journalists. So if you look at the overall efficiency of the car today, just based on my driving, I've been getting around 380 miles out of a full battery. So I've done quite a lot of motorway driving, quite a lot of faster driving up in the mountains. I really don't think that's bad at all. Obviously, the aim is 500 miles. You're not going to get that on the motorway. You know, purely motorway driving, I was averaging 3 miles per kilowatt earlier. And, you know, that gives you 300 miles. I'd be happy to drive 300 miles on the motorway. But I'm going to caveat all of this by saying that it is too soon. You know, we need to have the car for longer in the UK over a real mixture of road conditions to see if we can get anywhere close to that 500 claimed miles. Now, as much as I really love all the ADAS systems and the operating system that's running them, there's a bit of the technology that I'm not as keen on. Connecting to CarPlay, we found really clunky, wouldn't connect at all first thing, tried again later in the day, it did connect, so it can be a bit hit and miss on that. The other thing is that there is a really irritating digital assistant. It looks like an alien and it pops up there on the big bar, the big screen, head-up display across the windscreen there. Oh, it just pops up at the wrong time, doesn't have the answers to the questions that you need, and honestly, it's a bit more trouble than it's worth at the moment. Now, apparently, it is going to be upgraded and all iX3s will get the latest LLM Amazon Alexa model, so that will be, you know, driven by AI. It'll be much more intuitive.
In 800 metres, keep left of the fork.
I will be waiting for that version to come in because the alien has driven me mad. So let's take a quick look inside, because I think this is where all this new design approach really comes to life. It is so much more modern and pared back in here. It's got a bit of a Scandinavian vibe, I think. I really love the new steering wheel. I want to take it out of the car and take it with me into my house. Please, could we do that, BMW, a removable steering wheel? It's got the 12 o'clock spoke. It's the sport steering wheel. I just really like as well all the controls that are on here. They're haptic controls, but they're very satisfying. They work really well. If you don't want this, you can have a standard steering wheel, but you'd be mad if you don't want this because it looks fabulous. Okay, you will have noticed that switches and buttons, they're not part of the vibe now anymore. They've gone, as has the lovely rotary dial that we know and love. It's all about the screens. You've got the big central screen here, and you've got another one that runs the whole width of the car that everybody can see, no matter where you're sat in the car. Actually, I really like it. There is also an optional head-up display. Again, works really well. I'm not actually missing the switches and buttons. And I do like switches and buttons normally. You've got volume control here, climate control across the bottom there, easy to access. And even though the AI voice assistant does drive me mad, it will do simple things like, change the climate control or tell you what the efficiency is pretty well once it gets the hang of you. Just want to show you one quick thing more. When you swipe down there, this is the control for the panoramic vision display. And what I really like is that you can configure it to what you want it to be. So I'll have the outside temperature on there. I'm going to have, I'll have the time up there. Just flick that up. I'll have the date. So the functions that you use a lot, you can just simply flick them up and they will appear on that display. It's very intuitive and easy to use. I don't often like technology in cars because I think it's basically overcomplicated, and I don't think generally they do it as well as the big tech companies. But I've got to say, heart of joy, don't like what you're called, but I do like what you're doing when it comes to the technology. Let's do a quick look at the space in the back. Rear seats properly roomy, about on a par with the current BMW X5, so adults will be comfortable on longer drives. Boot-wise, 520 litres. With the seats down, that opens up to 1,750 litres, more than the old model. The sleeker shape, that means it's deeper rather than taller, but it's still a pretty practical load area. And up front, there's a handy 58-litre frunk. You get an automatic tailgate as standard, there's an option of roof racks, plus an electric fold-out tow bar, which is good for up to 2 tonnes. As I said, if you want all the lowdown on the details, check out my full walk-around video here on the channel. You know, the phrase game changer is thrown around by manufacturers way too often, in my opinion. But in the case of this car, the iX3 Neue Klasse, it is deserved. It really moves things on, not just in the way it looks, but in how it drives, in how the technology comes together. All of those super brains and that heart of joy are doing their thing. Daft name, but it really is a joy behind the wheel. And don't forget, it costs less than the outgoing model and, crucially, less than the competition. Bravo, BMW.